It's the magic hour. Welcome to another episode of Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers. We've got Caitlin in the back seat here. Caitlin, are we total strangers?
Absolutely.
Completely?
Completely.
You swear we never met?
Never met.
Is that amazing? And what are you doing in the back of my car anyway?
After work happy hour that turned fortuitous and amazing.
There you go. So you're going home.
Yes.
And you, what do you do for a living?
Advertising.
Advertising. And by the way, I forgot to ask you, how are you today?
I am fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I love when people are fantastic, because that's the only way to be.
I agree.
Don't be good. My new saying is, good is bad.
And we live in a place where people want to vacation. I always have to remind myself, we live in LA. It's amazing.
Right.
I can't be anything but fantastic.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, what do you have to say to the world? What's your motivation? What's inspiring you?
I just like meeting people. So I feel like I have a connection, or I'm interested in people. So yeah. I'm interested in your story, and
curious.
That's what's interesting about being a person or in humanity is those personal connections.
Yeah. Well, I'm always interested in learning something from everyone I meet.
Me too. Yep.
And I've had 400 people in this car, various cars, and I always want to know something about them, And where did you go to school?
I grew up in Folsom.
Folsom?
Like the prison blues.
Yeah.
Folsom, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that was in Folsom. He was a friend of the family. I shouldn't say friend of my parents. And he was what's called state raised.
Yes.
What that is?
Oh, yes, I
That's
do.
when you start in the foster, and then
Yes.
you just go through the prison system. And he was actually, his name was Leroy Cheney. He was one of the most famous prisoners in Folsom. Because when you have power, as he did, power is cigarettes. I don't know if you know that. The more cigarettes you have, the more powerful you are. And what you do is you have what's called caches, little banks of people that will hold your stash, because you can only allow, let's say 5 cartons.
Yes.
So you have all these little banks, and you would give them what they want, drugs or sex, to hold your 5 cartons, right?
Yes.
And then even when he would leave prison, he would still have those banks in there, because you always come back to prison. When you go to prison, you learn how to be a criminal.
I believe that.
Because typically you're not a real good criminal, or you wouldn't have got caught. Then you learn how to be a good criminal, but you still get caught because they catch criminals.
Yes.
And you come back, and so you always come back, and we still have the banks, and he would have the power. It's an amazing system. But, and I won't get started on that's negative. This is an uplifting show.
No,
but,
not at all. No, I have family who are prison guards, so
Oh.
I completely understand.
So you probably learned a bit from them.
Yeah, and just how to your point, you can escape it. Sometimes it's systematic where you want to get out, but you have to get into, I don't know.
But how easy is it? You have 3 meals a day, color television, sex, drugs, rock and roll, games, and you have all your friends there. So once you get out, it's like, why wouldn't I commit a crime and see how much I can get away with? Because, it's easier inside. No one's going to hire you on the outside because you're a felon, right?
But I think the human psyche needs freedom.
Well, I don't think they should have a good time in prison, especially if they're a murderer or if they're really a bad person. And, I've seen documentaries where other countries don't even put you in prison, and it's the best rehabilitation ever. You should watch documentaries on that. It's amazing. I think it's the Netherlands or something. You don't even go to prison. They just, keep an eye on you, and I guess you're on the honor system and it works. I don't know. I forget how it works, but it's amazing. So, are you married with children?
I'm married, no children.
Married with, no, you're going to have some kiddies?
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, no hurry.
It's LA,
How long have you been married?
5 years.
5 years? So you're newlywed?
Yeah, pretty
And
much 5 years. For LA, it's ancient, though, so.
Well, anytime you can get along with someone, in a marriage even, for 5 years, I think it's a miracle. Because you're completely different from your husband, and you're different species. Males and females are different species.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
It's amazing they can get along. And a marriage isn't nothing like a second job. It takes work. It just doesn't happen. Passion just doesn't happen, So you have to work at it, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest learning or misconception is it's not easy, and it's worth it though. Like,
Yeah, of course it's worth it. You
Like,
know? You
it's-
guys, someone to come home to that you could relate, laugh with, and enjoy your life with. You know.
yeah, and outside of like, I feel like I was just actually talking with my girlfriends about like the difference between settling down and settling. There's a difference. Like,
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, it's not that you give, like, the give up is the settling. Like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna move to the suburbs. I'm gonna have like this life. And again, for some people, that's the settling down. For us, it would be the settling, and to understand yourself and to understand the difference, I think, is like the happiness that makes people happy. You don't
Right.
want to be that person who it's 3:00 and you're doing that 1,000-yard stare of like, how did I get here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, your destiny is you. You know, I mean, you have to create. I always say life is a movie, and you're the director and the star, and you've got to direct it to be happy, to be a good movie.
Yes.
It's up to you. No one's going to make that happen for you.
Yes.
You know, so it is. Your destiny is up to you.
Absolutely.
And most people like to fail because you can blame your parents, you can blame society, you can blame being born in the wrong era. I mean, but you'll never blame yourself for some reason, and
Well,
it's kind of strange.
It's safe that way. If it's circumstance, then it doesn't have to come back on you. You didn't fail. It's other things like prohibited you from succeeding. I don't know. I'm thinking more backstory TMI, but my husband and me and my brother, child actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
LA. Yeah, you always meet actors.
Yeah.
For
Okay, you do look kind of familiar. What were you in the?
no, I wasn't in anything.
Oh, you were. You do look familiar though.
But my husband and my brother, like, from when they were young, it was more of, how do you now, as 30-year-olds, how do you live down the fact that, or how do you deal? The most successful you've ever been in your life was when you were 7.
Right.
How do you live that down?
Right.
Everybody's always comparing you.
Yes.
Like, that was the peak.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
Yeah, childhood actors, sometimes it's tough because, acting's a tough business, and to get one big role is scoring big, and you certainly grow out of it because you were that cute little kid in that commercial that you made $10 million on or something.
Yeah. And there's so much, like, people as an adult have issues with adults telling them they're not good. Imagine, like, being 6 or 7, being in an audition room where they're like,
oh, you know the movie I saw yesterday about Winnie the Pooh?
yes. With,
Have you seen it?
Ian McGregor.
Have you seen that?
Ewan.
No, the old one. It's not Ian McGregor. Well, maybe it was him. Is that his name? I don't know the name of the actor, but
It's like the nostalgic Winnie the Pooh movie. They just came out.
well, it was on Netflix though, so it doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
it's a different one then. I haven't seen that one.
It
No.
was the true story about how they came up with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And the kid had a miserable life because he was a big star, like a 7-year-old. Exactly what you're saying. And they made a fortune. He never wanted a dime from it. It made his life miserable. And he finally ended up okay. But it was a very sad movie. And exactly what you're saying, though. He was a superstar, and certainly didn't want to be. His dad just wrote a book about his little teddy bear, and it ruined his life. Really,
Yeah.
it was really sad. I
And
like movies that are based on true stories.
Me too. I love history. I love true stories. I feel like that's where the silver lining is, because it sounds sad, but it's also like positive in the fact that now I can I have so much like empathy and can identify with the human condition. Really, like, stuff isn't always great.
No, it's not.
And when you have something, especially like in your childhood, you can like feel it in other people, and you're more empathetic.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the positive of all of any of that.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, like meeting you and like all your positivity, and it's
Well,
a good
positive
thing.
manifests positive, and I think positive
Yes.
attracts positive
Yes.
as well. And I've been very fortunate to attract the kind of people in my life in 64 years. I think it's amazing. And just driving around what I'm doing now, I can't believe the caliber of people that I'm meeting. I can't imagine that all the other drivers are meeting the kind of caliber of people that sit in in the cars I drive. It blows my mind. The scientists, the surgeons, the incredible movie makers and writers and comedians that I get to drive. It's like, Are you kidding me?
And that's why I love LA. I feel like as much baggage as people give California or LA, it's still like the place you hope and dream, and the people who are here are hoping for like something like not better, because it's not like that what they left was bad, but more of the hope, that hopefulness.
What is they call it, the dreamland, right? I mean,
yeah.
City of Angels,
Yes.
where stars are made. But it's certainly, a lot of people think it's the money, and it's not the money.
And that's the dirty underbelly. Like, I feel like that's what people get caught up in. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people, at least when they come out, or hopefully like why they re-come out, is that those dreams and the fact of like it's got to be something else.
Yeah,
There's got to be something more.
I recently drove, not recently, a month ago, a lady. She was an actress for 20 years, and she packed up all her bags. It was a car, not like this, but 7 huge suitcases. She's from Turkey. She came here with 1 suitcase. She's going back home with 7, feeling she's a total failure.
No.
Well, here's what I told her. I said, listen, you start on Broadway, which she did. You're in movies, you're in television and commercials. You became a U.S. citizen, and you spent 20 years in the business. To me, that's a success.
The hardest business.
The hardest business. And it's a piece of shit business.
Yes.
It's a lot of scum. Everyone's, I mean, there's a lot of crooks and a lot of, the underbelly is really, really dirty, and look at the molesters, right, and what have you. But I said, go back to Turkey telling people you left the business.
You're brave.
Because you weren't a movie star doesn't mean you weren't successful.
No.
Right? So it's what you put in your head that matters in life.
It's so brave. That's how I feel. It's brave to live in LA. It's brave to do something, to shoot for your dreams. Whether or not you become like you, it's so brave, because everybody else, or not everyone else, but like you personally, if you don't do that.
Well, you're taking a risk, and there's a lot of competition, but the rewards are big. But you do have to take a risk. When you rode a bike, you fell down, you scraped your knee, you put a Band-Aid on, you got back up, you rode the bike again.
Yes.
So you got it. That's how life is. I have no fear to do anything. I can do anything. And if I don't do it so well, that's okay. I gave it my best shot, and I had some fun with it.
Yes.
I just ran over somebody.
No, it was a curve.
I know.
No, I completely agree. I think the worst thing in life, and again, everybody's different, and some people, I have many friends who are very happy and don't want risk, but you don't want to be on your bed, in my mind, when you're you're passing on or you're older and have any regrets.
Correct.
So if you are happy wherever you are and not taking that, then great, you have that peace of mind. But
Right.
if you are in that place where you're wondering, to your friend who said she felt like a failure, she would have felt more like a failure in my mind, or how I would feel projecting, if she hadn't done it at all.
Right. No, I agree. You're very, very bright young lady, and again, it's what you. I think, therefore I am.
Exactly.
Rene Descartes. I think, therefore I am. It's so important. You could be happy, you could be sad, you could think you're a failure, you could think you're a success. I think I'm a total success. Have I made millions? Well, yes, but I mean, do I have millions? No. Do I need millions? No. You don't need a bunch of money. Plus, you don't. If you die with money in the bank, people, you totally blew it.
Can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you.
But you can take experiences.
So enjoy your money.
I agree.
I do a virtual reality every day. One of the Germans that I did, she said, man, you have money, you got to spend it. And I said, I love when people say what's in my mind. Okay, I think we are here.
Oh, yeah, that's his house.
Is his house right there?
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Well, I'm so happy
Keep
that
starting
you.
Your message,
one of the things
important.
I tell people is try not to say no in life, because when you say no, you block. Like a lot of people don't want to do an interview.
Yeah.
When you say no, you block creativity, you block progress, experience, all kind of. You put up a fence.
And love.
And love. So don't say no, everybody. Say yes if I'm picking you up. Thank you for participating. Be fantastic, everybody. Like, subscribe, share, and check out the Instagram. We do a motivational statement every day, a slogan. Bye, everybody. Say bye.
Bye.